Alright, what's good, Israel? It's JB, and today I'm finna give y'all a crispy breakdown how to know if you're an Israelite, okay? So, typically I will have my face in these videos so you can expect that for the future videos to come, but for now, I'm gonna just give y'all this quick one because I promised this like 2 days ago and I didn't drop it, so I'm gonna just drop it today. And then I'm probably gonna do like a commandments video. I'm probably gonna do geography and also gonna touch on the Levitical laws, but that's later down the line. So yeah, we're gonna start. So first things first, when you're diving into being an Israelite, you have to start with lineage or genealogy. Well, not genealogy because the Most High says to not go into genealogy, but you want to start with uh, uh, lines, right? So according to the Most High, in Numbers 1 and 18, let's bring that out, right? See, I'm already on it. Numbers 1 and 18, it tells you that you are of your father's seed, right? So let me read this out. There's the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the numbers of the names for 20 years old upward by their polls, right? So it says the congregation, right, declared by their fathers' pedigrees, right? So if you go back to the etymology dictionary, I like to use this because this tells you the root word where it comes from, the origin, right? So if we look up pedigree, see I got it here already. Pedigree means genealogical table or chart, right? Right here it says descendant indicated, right? And then it got the kicker is this one, the descendants of one individual, right? Lineage, okay? Ancestry, blood, okay? Comes, and that one is your father in this case because it says the pedigree of your father, right? So that's how we know that's how we know who we are. So if our father is a so-called Israelite, then we'll be a so-called Israelite because we're determined by our father's seed. So you can think of it in the sense of if the farmer plants an apple seed, right, and he puts it in the soil, the apple doesn't come out part soil, part apple. It'll come out full apple because it's the farmer's seed in which he put it in the soil. Now, I'm not saying the soil didn't contribute to the growth. Of course it did because it helped the apple develop into an apple tree. But the apple is still a full apple because it's the apple seed. You can think about it that way. So next, we want to jump into the curses, right? So these curses happened to our forefathers for breaking the commandments when the Most High gave us commandments in the beginning, right? This is when we came out of the wilderness in Numbers from the captivity of Egypt, right? And we got commandments at Mount Sinai, and we broke those, and we got cursed for that. So these happened to our forefathers, right? At Deuteronomy 28 and 15. So like it says, if your father's an Israelite, you'll be an Israelite, right? So if this happened to them, then it will happen to we must fit the same thing. If we are of our father and our father went through these, or our father's lineage went through this, then, and if that made him an Israelite, then if we went through the same thing and we're of our father, then we're an Israelite, if you see what I'm saying. It links up that way, right? So let's bring out Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee, right? So let's jump into these curses, right? Because like I said, these curses define you as an Israelite. If your family, your so-called father's lineage doesn't fit these curses, 9 times out of 10, you're not an Israelite, right? Because this is how you know you're an Israelite. Because how would you be able to apply to something? How would you be able to apply something to you that literally does not apply to you, right? So what you want to do is you want to go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15, right? You read the curses. So the first curse we have is Deuteronomy 28 and 32, right? Slavery. So let's bring that out. It says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fill with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. Right, so then you think, because remember, we're trying to apply this to the Israelites. So you have to then ask yourself, well, who are the Israelites? So what nation of people did this happen to? Right, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Right, that sounds like slavery, and it should be no might in their hand. So the so-called blacks or the so-called African Americans went into slavery, right? And when they went into slavery, it was no way they could fight back, right? Because the Most High did not ordain them fighting back. This is the punishment of the Most High, right? So it was no way he could fight back. We got put in slavery for breaking curses, right? Okay, let's go again. Most of these curses should apply to you as a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, because those are the Israelites are, right? Let's go to 37, right? And thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword among all the nations whither the Lord shall lead thee, right? So byword, right, or a proverb really means name, right? Another name for which you aren't. So they call us African American or they call us black, right? But we're neither of those things, because we have a Chinese man who speaks Chinese and lives in China. We have a Russian man who speaks Russian and lives in Russia. But there is no black, and we don't speak black. There's no African America, and we don't speak African American. We have to identify by our true nationality that the Most High has given us, which is an Israelite from whatever tribe you are from. In my case, because I'm a so-called African American, I will be from the tribe of Judah, right? The top tribe. But that's our true nationality. So when they say byword, that's what they're referring to, being called things a byword. You get what I'm saying. Okay. Right? Let's keep bringing it out. Cuz it's not that many, but the ones that hit. You feel me? Okay, 28 and 41. It says, "Thou shalt begot sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity." So when we had children on a plantation, they were taken into the house, right, to be nursed or whatever, to be play dates with the slave master's daughters or whatever, right? When we begot our own children, we couldn't raise them the way we wanted. We had to let Esau do it, which is the biblical name of the so-called white man, right? So let's continue. 28 and 48. Now you remember, while I'm bringing these curses out, you should be asking yourself, well, who do these curses fit? Because they will fit, if you think about it, they fit the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Because in the beginning, after we can go back, right? Cursed shalt thou be in the city, right? Cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shalt thou be in thy basket and thy store. Ask yourself, who was cursed in the field? The cotton field, right? The so-called Black, Hispanics, Native Americans. The tobacco field, the corn field, right? These are the curses that belong to us, right? Let's go down to 48. "Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send thee against thee in hunger and thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee." Right? So you could tell the Most High is really furious with the nation of Israel, right? We went off against his commandments, and this was before Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, came on the scene to allow us to have a grace period before the Most High ultimately just killed us on sight, right? But that's how we were treated in slavery, if you see what I'm saying. They didn't feed us, right? They barely gave us water. We barely had anywhere to stay, okay? And a yoke of iron, which you can see in the picture I have, is right here. This is that yoke of iron, as you can see. The same thing happened to we was in captivity in Egypt, in Exodus, right? And then it's right here as well. The yoke of iron, that's what the Most High is referring to here, okay? So you can see that the Bible is obviously proven real, because if you say the Bible isn't real, then you'll be denying that the West Atlantic slave trade ever happened, which this will go into later if you stick around, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 49. It says, "The Lord shall bring a nation." Let me highlight it with y'all. Okay, Salakia, hold on. Okay. All right, "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand." Right? So when we got here from our indigenous place, when we were originally from Israel, right? That's why we're Israelite. We were then found in Egypt. That's why they say we're African. We were found in Egypt. The reason why we were in Egypt is because we fled Roman persecution in 70 AD, right? We fled to Egypt because the Romans were trying to persecute us. So we left and we dwelled in Egypt, right? And we went into captivity there, right? And then when they came, they brought us from Egypt, right? When we were still speaking our native language because we were still around each other. But then we got scattered into America, which is aka Babylon the Great, right? And they scattered us. We didn't understand any other languages because we still spoke Hebrew. We still had our own customs, right? And notice how it says, as swift as an eagle flieth, right? What is America's symbol? An eagle. It literally don't get more straightforward than that. The Most High is really spitting right now. He's actually spitting facts. Eagle. He didn't put that. He could put any animal in the world, but he chose eagle because that's a representation of America, right? And check this out. 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young, right? It didn't matter if you was 69, right? 80, 12, 2. If you wasn't doing if Esau told you to do something and you wasn't doing it, you were getting in trouble for that. Simple, right? Let's continue. Okay, this is a big one, right? 28 and 54. We can most of us can attest to that if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave thee, right? What nation of people, fathers, continuously leave them? Right? It says, and toward the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Black, you can't deny fact. This happens to us all the time. How many of us, I know I can't see you raise your hand, but raise your hand if you don't have a father in your household, your biological father. You see what I'm saying? A lot of y'all raised your hand because this applies to us, right? Let's go to 64. It says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one of the earth even unto the other, and there shall serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone, right? That's actually a shot to Muslims.